Hi, everybody. Welcome to Smark Avengers. My name is Corey, and with me are Dylan and John. Guys, how's it going?
Good.
Not too shabby.
Nice. So we are on episode 5 of volume 4. You're doing pretty great so far. 5 of 4. And I didn't get any thumbs up though, like you did earlier. I think you're just holding. There's something about how you hold your pen. I think like Skype doesn't read your thumb; it reads your pen.
It reads my pen.
Reads your pen. I don't know. It's not doing it now though.
I'll just do loads of wacky hand gestures, and then
we'll figure it out somewhere.
Whenever it happens, we'll do like a thumb counter, and like an alarm will go off, and then that's the thumb counter. So anybody in Spotify listening to this will know when the thumb appears on Skype. Sounds
like a lot of work.
Well, whoever's adding it is going to have a rough time, I guess.
Oh, son of a bitch. So speaking of rough edits and what have you, I don't think it'll be a rough edit. I'm just struggling for segue. So, yeah, we all at one point we were children, I think, unless some of us are eternal beings of light who have existed for always and ever. John.
Oh. Yes.
Yep. See.
And by definition, also me, because we're the same person.
Exactly. We've established this off the air, so.
And now we've established it on the air, so
yeah.
Unless you cut this bit out, in which case.
Oh well. So everybody kind of remembers the age-old thing of when you're a little kid and you're talking with other little kids and you start to get on the topic of who could beat who in a fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And volume 3, we did an episode of Marvel versus DC where it was the mini-series that they made trading cards out of, where the two worlds collided into combat to see who would win the most fights between the made-up characters. And coincidentally enough, not that long ago, it was announced that Marvel and DC are actually going to be putting out some joint books again soon. So they've crossed the proverbial line if we're going to go with old TNA wrestling references. So I thought maybe we are. What's Dylan Copeland doing in the Impact Zone?
Is that my name?
No, it's Dexter Fistington.
Is it?
No.
Is it still coming up, Dexter Fistington?
Yeah.
It still says Dexter Fistington.
Oh, it's a shame because they changed it to Tony Danza.
Oh boy.
I'll know for next time.
That'll be for next time.
When Tony Danza turns up in the Impact Zone, I will be amazed.
No, I don't think there's anything in the Impact Zone anymore. Because I remembered like they were doing like some AEW like Elevation, I think was in the old Impact Zone studio at Universal Studios. But I don't think there's anything there anymore. Because they pulled the plug on those real quick.
It's just haunted.
It's haunted.
Yeah. It's just
haunted by the ghost of
Jeff Jarrett.
I was gonna say Abyss. Because we've not seen Abyss since Impact. So
well,
his ghost still haunts it.
None of us have seen Jeff Jarrett either because we don't watch AEW.
No. I was gonna say, like, they did just announce that Abyss is DLC content for the next WWE game.
Yeah,
there you go. He's getting paid.
That's fucking wild.
Good on him. Cool.
Good for Abyss.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to who could win a fight between who. This segue was brought to you by WWE 2K Sports. It's in the game.
Please sponsor us. I hope Abyss is on one of these wheels.
All right. Well, you kind of spoil the surprise.
Everybody knows what's gonna happen.
Yes, there's wheels. So what we decided to do is that we were going to have one of these spirited debates that you would as a child on the playground, but we're going to add an element of randomness to it. So we do not only have one wheel, we have 2 wheels.
Magic.
Yep, so we have 2 wheels, as you can see here. We have a Marvel Comics wheel that is symbolized by our thumbnail of the most worst deaths in comics.
Yeah, the death of Mary Jane.
Yep. And then we have the DC Comics wheel that is our Battletoads thumbnail.
Classic.
The most listened to episode of Smark Avengers.
I don't know what the fuck's wrong with people.
Yeah.
So the way we're going to play this is simple. We're just going to spin the wheel once on one wheel, once on the other wheel, and that's going to be our fight. And then we're just going to have a conversation of who we think could win that fight.
Simple.
Sound simple?
So
Yeah.
Simple. So
Couldn't
we're
be
going to
simpler.
shuffle the wheels up. Dylan, how many times should we shuffle the Marvel Comics wheel? Oh, hold on. We are short a person. We need to have 20 names.
Put a bis on there.
No, we're not going to put Abyss. Although the TNA wrestling figures from that 2000s period was made by Toy Biz, which also made the Marvel figures, and that you could find like comparable parts if you were the Type 2 kit bash, if you will. So anyway, pick a Marvel Comics character to put on the wheel.
What do you think,
who've
John?
we got on there already? We got the Hulk, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Mr. Fantastic, Captain Marvel, Storm, Jean Grey, Scarlet Witch, Magneto, Juggernaut, Doctor Doom, Mystique, Carnage, Mr. Sinister, MODOK, Doctor Octopus, the Leader.
Plant-Man.
Who's up a bit, like near the top of the list? Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk.
Yep. So we need 20 names. We only got 19.
How about Deadpool?
Deadpool it is. All right, so we got 20 names. Dylan, how many times are we going to shuffle the wheel?
5.
2, 3, 4, 5. And our DC Comics wheel, John, you want to read off who's on there?
We have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Power Girl, Zatanna, Martian Manhunter, Booster Gold, The Joker, Lex Luthor, Lobo, Poison Ivy, Gorilla Grodd, The Cheetah, Brainiac, General Zod, Deathstroke, and Starro.
And Dylan, how many times are we going to shuffle this wheel?
7.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, which wheel do you guys feel like spinning first? You want to spin Marvel or DC?
We're on DC. Let's spin that one first.
We'll do it in
right.
alphabetical order.
So our very first fight's going to be in the DC
Brainiac.
corner. Brainiac, Superman villain,
Classic.
antagonist of the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League game and Injustice 2. And let's spin the Marvel wheel. Brainiac will be doing battle with...
Oh,
Dr. Doom.
Oh dear.
That's a nice little fight there. All right, so real quick, you guys are more of the Marvel people. Well, tell me about Dr. Doom. What is pertinent about Dr. Doom in a fight?
He's
What you
got a
gotta look
suit
out
of
for?
armor, and he also knows magic.
Yeah.
And he has robots that sometimes fight in his behalf.
He's
and also,
super smart as well.
yes, he's incredibly intelligent and incredibly vengeful and bitter. But he also has like his entire country that he can like call upon to do his bidding as well. And I assume those people love him.
I think he's got diplomatic immunity as well.
Yeah, so that helps.
In
a fight, that really helps.
It means he can do whatever he wants without fear of being punished.
And he has done. He's very, very clearly taken advantage of that. Is that it?
I think so.
I think we covered the main points. I don't know how much else there is.
So here's what you need to worry about in Dr. Victor Von Doom that you may or may not have covered. I'm on the Marvel database. I thought I would just hit you with the powers. We don't need to necessarily go into the history unless you want to.
He can access the Speed Force.
Yeah, access the Speed Force. He has been handsome, then ugly, then handsome, then ugly. That happens to him quite a bit.
I don't think that's a power. I wouldn't.
I mean, he has done it to himself multiple times. Oh my gosh. He has so much history. All right. So, Dr. Doom. First off, magician. He is a master of mystic arts, taught by his mother, who is of Romani and Latvian blood. He had made some sort of a deal with Morgan Le Fay, did he not?
Sure.
I believe so. I think they had a relationship as well at some point.
That's what you don't want. So he has some minor psychic abilities on top of the spell casting. He has access to the power cosmic that he stole from the Silver Surfer. He has borrowed the Beyonder's power. He has tapped into the Phoenix Force at some point. But basically, he's a super genius. He's expert in hand-to-hand combat, peak human conditioning, very determined motherfucker, charismatic leader. As you know, he is the ruler of his country, Latveria, has mastered multiple different weapons. But this actually, the Marvel database actually gives us a couple of weaknesses, so we'll save those for last.
Magnets.
Now, on the opposite end of the problem, yeah, I mean, suit of armor, that's going to be a bitch. We have Vril Drox, who is the Brainiac, Brainiac 1. Basically, he is an artificial life form that is cybernetically enhanced. He is able to tap into machinery and control it. He's telepathic. He has superhuman strength, durability, speed. He is technically immortal. He can regenerate his body. He has reproduced spawn in multiple different versions of Brainiac afterwards. He has actually tapped into time itself and formed an alliance with other versions of himself as well. So also genius level intellect, as the name Brainiac would suggest. And he does not have a country. He operates out of a giant fucking skull ship. And he has a nasty little habit of collecting things and shrinking them down and putting them into big bottles. So the bottled Cindy of Kandor came from Brainiac. So it does not list any weaknesses for Brainiac, but obviously hubris is one of them, as you would assume.
But that also
Doom
applies
also
to Dr. Doom, I would imagine.
Certainly does. Also has a major ego. It also lists that Dr. Doom has made a deal with Mephisto that has, every now and then he's got to fight Mephisto to try to get his mom back. So that's counted as a weakness for some reason. I don't know why.
Because you need him to do something, and you're like, where is he? Oh, he's up in hell fighting Mephisto again.
Yeah. Surely it makes him stronger, keeping, having to fight the devil.
Having to fight the devil repeatedly.
Yeah.
So Brainiac is responsible for the destruction and databasing of countless planets, kind of like Galactus. He doesn't consume them; he does destroy them, and he only keeps he usually keeps a city around in a bottle. And the reason is that basically Brainiac hoards knowledge. He is a living database. So that is kind of his modus operandi. It's also his bit of a weakness, is that Brainiac strives to be the smartest living life form. And a lot of that involves hoarding knowledge that no one else can ever achieve. So he is responsible, like I said, again, for the deaths of millions, several planets destroyed because of his actions. So if you had to have a fight between Dr. Doom and Brainiac, the first thing I think of that's going to be a problem is Brainiac's going to try to assimilate and take Latveria and put it in a bottle.
Okay, that's not the first thing I thought of.
What's the first thing you thought of?
The first thing I thought of, whenever you were reading off his pretty typically for DC, vast list of
abilities,
powers, including access to the Speed Force, was that he could tap into and manipulate machinery.
Yes.
Which would be a big problem for Dr. Doom with his suit of armor and his Doom bots. That'd be an issue. That would be an issue. Right off the bat, I'm like, that sounds like that's going to be a sticky situation.
Yeah. So Brainiac also has access to multiple drones that he's able to basically throw out in waves.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
He just has access to everything.
Yeah.
He sounds like one of those guys like, oh, actually, you can shoot me, but I have class 9 armor, so you can't.
He's really handsome.
Yeah, and he never got ugly once. He was always handsome. So
no, there's some fucking horrific versions of Brainiac out there.
As horrific as the Beast? I don't think so.
Well, so who voiced him? I can't remember who was his voice.
He voiced himself.
I mean, Lance Henriksen voiced him previously.
Voiced
Stephen
him.
voiced him, yes. Stephen Fry contributed to his voice. Jeffrey Combs is who I was thinking of. When I think of Brainiac, I think of Jeffrey Combs.
Nice.
Yeah. Some Herbert West in that voice, that's for sure.
Will that be a defining factor?
No, I was just thinking of, like, when I think of Brainiac, what version am I thinking of? Because, like you said, there is but one Doom as well. There's been, I would say, 3 Dooms? There's comics Doom. There's Fox Movies Doom with old guy from Nip Tuck. And now we're going to have Robert Downey Jr. Doom.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the issues for Doom is going to be Brainiac can control his technology and his weapons and also bottle up Latveria.
Yeah. That seems pretty conclusive right there. That seems.
I don't know, though.
Well, is Brainiac immune to magic?
That's exactly
I don't think
what
he
I
is.
was going to ask.
That's the one area on this I don't think Brainiac has an answer for is magic. Brainiac's used to fighting Superman, and Superman has a weakness to magic. So Brainiac has never had to deal with magic before.
Interesting.
So, I mean, that is an angle on this for sure that would be in Doom's favor. Because, especially, right, if we take Doom right now where he's Sorcerer Supreme in One Nation, was it One World Under Doom? Is that the name of the event, John?
I think so.
Sure.
Yeah.
That adds a little wrinkle into the plan. Doesn't it? The magic. Because, like I said, at the beginning, it seemed pretty cut and dry. It seemed like Brainiac, with his power over robots and his propensity to take things and shrink them down into bottles for some reason, that's hard to beat. But the magic could, like, swing it in Doom's favor. I don't know. I mean, naturally, because I'm a Marvel character, I want to vote for Dr. Doom. But this one's a lot closer than you would think it is.
I was really surprised because there's definitely going to be some styles clashes on that wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Joker's on there, Cheetah's on there, and then you also have like Deadpool and Storm. So I mean, there's going to be the fact that we have like two big bads, like 2 ending game big bads that are super intelligent and super dangerous going against each other in the first fight is surprising.
We can just call it here.
John, do you want to weigh in on that?
Well, I'm sort of leaning towards Dr. Doom just for the reason that, like, even when he loses in the comics, he still finds a way to, like, win, like, even if it's like a small victory or whatever, or just escaping to, fight another day, or like he can, like, pull stuff out the bag when the odds are against him. So I think that kind of works in his favor a little bit. And like we were saying, the magic as well.
Yeah, I think the magic is a big thing.
I think he could just, use his magic to open a portal and send Brainiac off to some other dimension, and then that's it. Fight over.
He could do that.
He could do that, yeah.
Yeah. The one thing to John's point, though, whenever you were talking about how Dr. Doom always finds a way to, like, even if he loses, he finds a way to, like, kind of turn it into a moral victory for him somehow. Then couldn't you see that actually happening where Brainiac does win, but Doom, despite losing, turns it into, like, all about him somehow?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a technical victory for Brainiac, but it's a moral victory for Dr. Doom.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I could easily see, like, he allows Latveria to be captured, is put in the bottle on top of the skull ship, but now he's like, all right, cool, now I'm inside of this technologically advanced spaceship that I just need to get out of this bottle, and then I can take this for myself.
Yes.
It seems like a very Doom thing.
The levels of manipulation are there, You could even say, like you said, you could make it seem like Doom throws the fight in order to move things along further in life to his advantage. Possibly,
Yeah.
So
do you think it's just a? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dylan.
Well, I was going to sum things up as well. Like, assuming we're, in that, like, what would we say? Like a technical victory for Brainiac, but like
moral
a
victory,
moral victory
for
for
Doom.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how fast can the fight start. Because like if Doom is given time to think of like to realize like what's going on and start accessing magic, then I think you run into a problem there. But if Brainiac can surprise and overwhelm, then Brainiac could win on the technical victory.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
Okay, so what do we think?
I'm sticking with Doom.
I'd go Brainiac, I think.
You know, I'm gonna stick with my idea in that Brainiac probably wins like the fight, but Doom lives another day. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
So Brainiac technically wins.
There we go.
He doesn't really win.
All right, so fight 2. Are we spinning Marvel or DC? Also, can you see the wheel still? Just want to make sure that we're there.
Yes, we can see
Yep.
All right, cool. Do you want to spin Marvel or DC first this time?
You just go time about.
Sure.
Okay.
We're spinning the DC wheel, and our next fighter is going to be. Okay. Booster Gold, the greatest hero you've never heard of. And representing Marvel Comics in the opposite corner, we have.
I hope it's MODOK.
Oh no!
Wow.
Scarlet Witch.
Hmm.
All right. Well, this one may not be as even. Because this fight could start and end very quickly depending on what Booster does first. And that is if he tries to hit on Wanda, where the fight is over.
Is Booster Gold a mutant?
No, Booster Gold is not a mutant. He does not have any powers that are his own.
Okay.
Yeah. So Booster Gold is a time traveler from the future. Except in his future, he works as a janitor for a superhero museum. And he realizes that there's all this equipment around him. He could just easily steal a time machine, go back in time, and make himself a superhero based off of his knowledge of what happens in the future and all of this future like technology and powers that he's able to have access to. So that's his plan, and he goes back in time and becomes Booster Gold. Booster has tech, so he can generate force fields. He can shoot out beams from his wrists. He has a Legion flight ring that allows him the ability to fly. And he has a little robot buddy named Skeets who helps him out with all of his various... Skeets almost acts like a parent to him and tries to keep Booster Gold down to earth. In the Justice League cartoon, Dylan, you would be amused to find that Billy West is the voice of Skeets.
Good. Back on board.
Back on board. Now, we all know Wanda, and we all know why it was like, started to laugh a little bit when we saw Wanda's name come up. Wanda is she a mutant right now? I don't think she is technically.
No, not anymore.
Was once a mutant, maybe a mutant again, who knows? But Wanda has the ability, again, of magic, and more specifically, bending reality. She also has precog abilities, flight, telekinesis, can generate force fields, telepathy. She is very, very powerful. Also not terribly mentally sound, prone to outbursts and breakdowns. And on the opposite end, Booster Gold, for all intents and purposes, is kind of stupid. He's a bit of a meathead. He's a jock. He usually, more often than not, if it's a writer that is feeling generous, Booster Gold is the kind of guy who just plays a fool because it makes it easy for people to overlook him. And in other representations, he's just stupid. So in a fight between a man from the future with all of the knowledge of the past and technology that makes him considered a superhero in the present versus a person who may or may not be a mutant, depending on what time of day it is, and has the ability to alter reality. Who do we think is going to win?
I mean, I would say probably Scarlet Witch.
You reckon?
Yeah. I
But
think
she
so.
doesn't have a skeets though.
Ah, shit. Couldn't she
Doesn't have a little robot buddy?
Couldn't she alter reality to the point where she does and Booster Gold doesn't?
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Done.
Yeah, it's almost like playing Scarlet Witch is almost like playing with a cheat code.
Yeah.
Like it would take like somebody real powerful to take Scarlet Witch off the board.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tricky one.
It's almost like if we looked at the DC wheel, like who could theoretically beat Scarlet Witch?
Brainiac. Superman.
Weak to magic. Weak to magic.
All right. Well,
I think it would have to be the Flash.
Oh, Speed Force.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, make her think of her brother.
Yeah, I reckon Batman could do it because Batman always wins.
Batman always wins.
He's got no powers.
Does Batman have prep time? That's always the argument. Does Batman have prep time? Then yeah, he could absolutely beat the 1986 Denver Broncos.
He could be anybody.
Thank you, John.
Invincible.
Yeah, so that one seems a bit cut and dry, huh? That Scarlet Witch is not going to make a long day out of beating up Booster Gold.
All she has to say is no more Booster Gold, and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're Booster Gold, and she's done.
Yeah, and then but then in that new reality, there will be nobody there to be like, I remember reality when there was a Booster Gold, and bring it back again. They'll just be like, oh, this is great.
Yeah,
off we go.
They don't have their own Layla Miller.
Yeah, because they don't need it. They're like, oh, dude, turns out life without Booster Gold actually better.
Blue Beetle probably feels that way.
Well, Skeets doesn't.
Skeets is a big fan of Booster.
I can see why. But then, as we said, in this reality, Scarlet Witch now has Skeets.
Yes, she does. All right, so we're going to spin the DC wheel one more time.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, sometimes they ain't going to be as complicated as you think. This may be one of those times because it is Gorilla Grodd.
Yes, it is.
From DC. And on the Marvel side, Gorilla Grodd will be facing off against... Oh, I'd love to read this.
Oh.
Spider-Man versus Gorilla Grodd. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys talk about Spider-Man.
I think we can all unanimously agree on who's going to win this one.
Spider-Man.
Gorilla Grodd fights the Flash.
It's going to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man's going to win because Spider-Man's entire MO is fighting animal-based villains.
Yes.
That's his whole thing. He fights people who are animal-based. Vultures.
Rhinos. Chameleons.
Octopuses. Octopi. Shockers. Goblins. Of all varieties, as we all know. Scorpions.
Mm-hmm.
So many. He's fought the Red Ghost before. He's fought apes. He's done this. Spider-Man is tailor-made for this. Gorilla Grodd can have all the powers of Speed Force that he wants. Spider-Man, it's going to be hard for me to find a better one for Spider-Man to go up against, I think.
So real quick, I will tell you a little bit about Gorilla Grodd.
He's a gorilla.
So Gorilla Grodd, he is a gorilla. He's a genius level intellect, expert combat. He has telekinesis. He has telepathy, so he can control other people. He can control animals. He can put his mind into other people's bodies, and he can sense thoughts. He also has superhuman strength and superhuman durability. And just to give you some information, Gorilla Grodd is from the city that is made up of other sentient gorillas called Gorilla City. And he's a criminal in Gorilla City because everybody else in Gorilla City are very peace-loving people, but not Gorilla Grodd. Also, you should know that he is separated from his spouse.
What's her name?
It's just
Mary Jane.
Boca. Made a deal with some asshole named
And then Spider was like, my girlfriend's called Mary Jane too. And then they stop fighting, and then they go and
stop fighting.
Hug it out.
They do. He does have 2 children. He has his son Drug, and his other son Gorbel Mammoth. And he is a grandfather. His grandson is named Sam Simeon.
Okay.
All right.
A different surname.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you have the same last name as one of your as both of your grandparents? I mean, you.
I would have the same name as the male grandparent.
But no, the other one. Do you have 2 male grandparents? You have 2 grandfathers.
They're all dead.
Oh, same. Been a bit, huh?
Dude, I'll be honest with you. They died long before I could ask them this question.
Granddad, would you name me Sam Simeon?
Granddad, who do you think would win in a fight between Spider-Man and Gorilla Grodd?
Gorilla Grodd.
He's like, well, Spider-Man, obviously.
Spider-Man does have a lot of. He does have a lot of experience fighting animal-based criminals. So yes,
that's his whole gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
That is his gimmick. All right, so we're gonna agree then that Spider-Man is going to be Gorilla Grodd.
I feel like that one's pretty cut and dry, right? We're all in agreement?
100%.
I think we're all in agreement.
Okay.
So far, DC has Brainiac on technical victory, Scarlet Witch winning, and Spider-Man winning.
I love the way that we've done this. You could say that yes, it's 2-1 to Marvel, but we also fixed it so it's really 3-0 to Marvel.
Yeah, it's really because how opportunistic Doom is, and again, like I said, it depends on how quick he can get the magic going.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna spin the DC wheel.
He's really the winner, So DC have a lot of Corey, the problem is you're in a podcast with 2 other Marvel guys, so we're trying to be diplomatic, but we're not.
All right, well, we got Superman,
so this might change things.
Yeah.
This could go a direction. We have taken Scarlet Witch off the board.
Yes.
She was one of the big magic users, so we'll see who else is going.
Dr. Doom is also off the board.
Oh, also off the board. So could he beat? Yes.
Yeah.
He could beat the leader.
Wait a minute now.
So
let's debate this.
Let's debate it.
What's to debate?
The leader's got a big head.
That's a bigger target to hit.
Tim Blake Nelson plays him.
He can use his big brain to think of a way to kill Superman.
While he's thinking about that, Superman's used his super speed to put him in jail.
Who can move? Can Superman move quicker than the leader can use his quick brains to think of something?
Yes, he is as fast as the Flash.
Well, but how fast is the leader thinking of things?
He might be fast at thinking of things, but then he's got to put those thoughts into action afterwards. So
what if he's so fast at thinking of things that he already thought of a way to beat Superman?
Okay, you stumped me there.
You know what I mean?
All right, so we have telepathy, telekinesis, gamma radiation projection, self-resurrection, consumptive learning, gamma mutate mental possession, below place access, and occlusion. Yes.
So what
also,
you're saying is
the leader's weaknesses are arrogance, immaturity, impatience, and obsession with defeating the Hulk.
Which won't factor into beating up Superman because it's not him.
But the arrogance, immaturity, and impatience absolutely will.
Well, what about the bit where you said he could bring himself back from the dead?
Superman also doesn't like killing people, so he probably wouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
He probably put him in the Phantom Zone.
But surely the leader would he would think of a way to get out of the Phantom Zone. He must have thought of that eventuality at some point.
this world they've never been in. Surely they have this thing called the Phantom Zone. A prison created by Jor-El, one of the greatest scientific Kryptonian minds.
See, because he would know that.
I'm sure he would.
He thought about it a lot with his big brain.
Yep.
See? I'm just saying.
I don't know if the leader is a better thinker than Lex Luthor. And also Brainiac.
Mm-hmm.
Superman. This is kind of Superman's wheelhouse. Much like how Spider-Man fights a lot of animal-based villains, Superman fights a lot of super geniuses.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know the fucking Superman's gonna win, all right? I was just trying to put a little mystery into it.
We're having a conversation about it.
Superman wins.
We had a conversation about it.
What a surprise! The guy with all the powers wins. Oh, jeez, didn't see that one coming.
Yep, that's unfortunately that's the case. Like I said, it's like Booster Gold versus Scarlet Witch. It's like, well, one's a janitor that got some super gadgets, and the other can alter reality.
It's not a great.
All right, so here's our DC wheel. Up next, we have stepping into the magic realm itself. We have Zatanna, and Zatanna will be going up against
the Hulk. Hulk just beats the shit out of her.
Okay. Okay. Deadpool.
Oh,
Deadpool versus Zatanna.
That is interesting.
How does Deadpool do against magic?
Oh, you know, not that bad. He fought T-Ray, and T-Ray used a lot of like occult magic stuff against him.
Oh yeah.
And he ended up.
Okay, so real quick, what we know about Deadpool, of course, regeneration, can't die.
Mm-hmm.
Zatanna has access to magic. I will say the weakness of Zatanna is that for her to cast her spells, she has to say them backwards.
So he just cut her throat.
Yeah.
It's a hampering. Yeah, that's the thing about Zatanna.
If only the person she was fighting had like a really big long sword that would be able to just slice her throat.
That's the problem. Is like he'd have to get close enough for her to do it, and Zatanna's like able to teleport and stuff too. I mean, that is a large magic base. It's because you also say the same thing about Wanda versus Booster Gold. Booster could have just hit her with an energy beam from across the field.
Well, Deadpool, I don't know if he still does. He used to have a teleporting belt.
Yeah.
I don't think he does anymore.
He certainly used to.
I do remember he used to use it all the damn time, though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. Plus, if that's the argument, that Deadpool could just shoot her from across the thing too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it really depends. Like, what's their our gap? How big a distance are they away from each other? Does she have enough time to say something backwards?
But it depends what thing it is she's saying backwards.
Her spells aren't complicated. It is not. It's not like a Doctor Strange from the Hoary Hoths of Hagath or whatever. It's usually just what she wants to happen, but said backwards. So if she were to say,
you know,
true. I mean, all she has to say is the word teleport, but backwards, like a David Lynch film, and then she's teleported.
But how does she know that she's teleporting herself and not the person she's targeting?
It's all also what she's thinking as well. Like, it's about intention. So
then Deadpool could
to
just
get
shoot
some
her in the
Grant
head.
Morrison on you, if you're gonna cast magic, you have to cast it with intention.
Okay, I still think Deadpool would just shoot her in the head.
Probably. I'm not disagreeing. I mean, he is a mercenary,
Mm-hmm.
and she again is also used to fighting magic, other magic users.
Yeah, he's definitely done that before.
So, real quick question: if we don't do Zatanna, do you think John Constantine would do any better?
No.
Nope.
Okay, I was curious, like if it was just like because Constantine would fight dirty.
Deadpool would also fight dirty.
And he'd probably also ask him out on a date.
Deadpool?
No, Constantine.
Yeah, well, Deadpool would probably go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That might actually just end with them on going on a date.
Yeah, but then after that, Deadpool would kill him.
Probably. Yeah. But I mean, at that time, who knows? Maybe he would have fallen in love.
Died.
I mean, Constantine used to date King Shark, and that is canon.
Yeah, but Constantine hasn't seen what Deadpool looks like under the mask. It puts a lot of people off.
But what I just said is he had sex regularly with a shark man.
Right, but that's different from having sex with a guy that looks like Deadpool.
I'm just saying, like, if you're willing to sleep with an anthropomorphic shark, if you're willing to sleep with an anthropomorphic shark, I also feel like some of that other stuff won't bother you as much.
I mean, maybe it's a sexy shark. Who knows?
I don't know. It's King Shark.
He's got a crown. He's royalty. That's pretty. Like, that would be attractive, I think.
Yeah.
Royalty. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not necessarily. See, it also kind of depends on what version of King Shark we're talking about here. Because, like, Suicide Squad King Shark, he is like the brain of a child. And he's voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
You probably shouldn't fuck that one then. I wouldn't.
I would hope not. That would feel weird. That would feel weird.
Yeah, I don't think that's
that would be weird. So anyway, that was a long roundabout way of saying that basically Deadpool will beat a magic user.
It's gonna be Deadpool. Yeah. Glad we could all come to that.
All right. Let's head on over to the DC wheel. And our next fighter is... Oh, this would have been perfect.
Oh, wow.
Really. Deathstroke the Terminator.
Too
really,
late.
though, I would love to see Deadpool versus Lobo.
Well,
who's
maybe
going to
next
fight
time.
the Terminator? The person who's going to be fighting against Deathstroke the Terminator is Storm.
Oh.
Now, much like Deadpool, Deathstroke gets tasked with killing superhumans all the time. She is an Omega level mutant, though. So
she could just like frost him to death.
True, but he also has that same thing that Deadpool had against Zatanna, which is he could just shoot her.
Yeah, but what if she's flying?
He could still shoot her.
But she's like, dude, she can control the wind and she can fly. Like she's all over the place.
He's also an expert sniper.
Okay,
like
dude,
that. Like
you know
I'm just saying, it's the
far
same
up
argument.
The sky goes.
I'm saying it's
really
the same.
far.
Yeah, Zatanna can fly too. It's
right,
the same.
But we're not talking
argument
about that. We're talking about Deathstroke.
Yes,
that's
Deathstroke,
who we're talking about.
Deadpool was shamelessly based
past.
on.
We've moved on. Storm can fly. You didn't mention that in the bar shit, so this is on you.
That's what I'm saying.
We've moved on.
It's the same argument in theory.
Not the same argument. It's totally.
How is it not the same argument?
Because you didn't bring that up in the first thing. So how can we make that argument at the last go round? You can't make an argument
without.
that.
I was talking about the distance between the two.
You said they could teleport.
Yes, she can. She can also fly.
That teleporting and also flying are two different things, John.
I agree.
I'm also saying that has nothing to do with this though. Deathstroke is an expert level sniper. He gets paid to kill people. I think a woman flying in the sky is not going to be as much a challenge in that regard.
Oh, but a man flying in the sky would be all right?
Yes, I don't think it would be a challenge for him either. You give him distance and a sniper rifle, he's going to get the job done.
But then you could give, Storm could be shooting bolts of lightning at him from a distance as well.
True, but he also, Deathstroke also has what we like to call heavy plot armor.
Where he
is a one-eyed man who has routinely fought against superheroes and come out still living and sometimes winning. I don't understand how or why. Deathstroke has plot armor.
Let me posit this here, okay?
Also voiced by Ron Perlman. That's just for fun, though.
Oh, is that gonna factor into things?
No, but if it didn't for Jeffrey Combs, then it should for Ron Perlman.
Let's go with the scenario where yes, Storm can fly, but Deathstroke is an immaculate sniper.
Yes.
So he's on the ground. Doesn't matter where Storm is, he can shoot a bullet at her, right?
Yeah, he can zero in.
Stick with that, right? Couldn't she just use the wind to knock that bullet off course?
Yeah.
But it also depends if she knows that she's getting sniped, though. I mean, that's the thing.
If she's fighting this guy who's an expert sniper, she's gonna have a good.
He is also an assassin.
The guy's gonna try and shoot her.
He's an assassin, though. The whole point of an assassin to assassinate someone is the other person seldom knows it's coming.
So you think he would just shoot her in the back of the head?
Oh, I think he absolutely would. Deathstroke is not like the egomaniacal, I have to beat you in hand-to-hand combat to prove. No, he wants to just get paid.
Who's paying him to kill Storm?
Whoever's hiring to pay Storm. Probably, I don't know. The government? He'd do it for the government.
It's always the government.
Yeah, the United States government would absolutely. The Marvel United States government, they're like, listen, that woman
racist United States government. They hate
that woman
women. They hate black
Mars.
people.
Get rid of her.
Yeah, she's too powerful.
Immigrants.
The big three. She ticks all the boxes. Get her out of here.
Get her out of here.
We don't got time for the diversity in today's United States. Get that shit out of here.
No, diversity is fine. It's DEI that we don't like. That's it. I'll talk to you off camera about that one. That's fucking
You don't
stupid,
have
but
to.
it's funny.
I feel like that message has been made loud and clear.
Okay. But no. I don't think that's an easy one. I don't think it's an easy one. Because again, it's Deathstroke, who's an expert level assassin who routinely hunts after superheroes. I feel like he would probably come into the fight prepared for anything Storm could throw at him. The difference is Storm holding back or not? Because Storm is Omega level. So if Storm's not going to hold back, then she could very easily take care of the fight. But Storm's always someone who practices self-restraint.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, Storm is, like you said, an Omega level. She's also been the leader of like a lot of X-Men teams. She's been on like, what was she in the Avengers, currently. Whatever. Like she's
currently an Avenger, yeah.
Yeah. So like she knows how to like handle herself in a fight a lot. Like she's you know, she knows what she's doing. She's no rookie. I think that, I don't know. John, what do you think?
I think Corey's won me over. Like when they first came up, I was Team Storm all the way. But then, yeah, now that Corey's laid it out there, like I think Deathstroke would be better prepared to kind of take Storm out from a distance, and I think he'd be more prepared as well to kind of do whatever it takes. Whereas, like Corey was saying, Storm is more likely to be showing restraint and whatnot. So,
okay.
I thought Storm originally, but nah, I'm going for Deathstroke now.
Okay, that's I will concede. I still think
I still think that now just leads us to we do need to have a Deadpool versus Deathstroke. Well, yeah, I'm sure it's happened, but we need an official version.
I mean, yes, I guess that if we're, you know, if Deadpool was clearly the victor at his thing, the DC equivalent of Deadpool,
the guy he's based on.
Yes.
If you say equivalent, I mean, he's the guy that he, for all intents and purposes, was that Rob Liefeld just changed some colors around for.
Deadpool's got 2 eyes.
That's true. No, I will say this: Deathstroke, the character, is not nearly as popular as Deadpool, the character. That is obvious.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things of just like he was a ripoff of Deadpool because DC wouldn't let Rob Liefeld do Teen Titans, so he's like, fine, I'll go to Marvel and I'll do it over there.
He's a bitter man.
Nobody holds a grudge like Liefeld does. That's what we've learned over the last few years.
We'll talk about that one in a different show, I imagine.
There'll be a Rob Liefeld episode.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot to talk about there.
All right, our next contestant in the DC fight, we have Power Girl.
Did you share the screen?
Oh, all right. We'll go ahead and re-roll that so you guys
we can write down Power Girl if you want.
I did not click start sharing. I hit share screen, but not start sharing. Seems a little excessive. All right, so.
Okay.
All right. For the DC side, we have the Princess of the Amazons, Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman will be fighting
the Juggernaut.
He's on the wheel. So.
That's a dream match.
It's a dream match because it all depends on one factor, and it changes the whole dynamic of the fight. Mm-hmm. What is that one factor?
Phoenix Force, baby.
Phoenix Force. If Jean Grey has access to the Phoenix Force, that's it. That's the fight.
Yeah.
If Jean Grey doesn't have access to the Phoenix Force, it's still a tough fight because she is telepathic and telekinetic. Again, one of Wonder Woman's major villains is Dr. Psycho, who is thank you. I was waiting for it. Dr. Psycho, who is also a master level telepath and mind manipulator. But yes, I mean honestly, that's what this is. Does Jean have the Phoenix Force? Does it go from a tough fight to an easy fight? But
that's exactly it. The issue we have here is that it's either definitely Jean Grey or maybe Jean Grey.
Maybe. But I mean, she's
either
fighting
way,
a god.
She's got a pretty good shot,
Yeah. I mean, Wonder Woman's for all intents and purposes a god at this point. I mean, she's the current continuity. She is half god. So it would be like, could Jean Grey take Thor in a fight?
Probably.
You reckon?
Really? I think that would be pretty close.
What, just regular old Jean Grey?
Yeah, she's also an Omega level mutant on her own.
No, she's not Omega on her own.
Yes, what?
I don't think she's Omega.
Are you
I don't
sure?
think she is.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's look at the made-up database.
Yeah.
Let me really quickly log into comic book resources under my account.
Oh no, she's a telekinetic. So she just moves stuff with her mind really, really well. But telepath, no, just telekinetic.
So she could just move Thor somewhere else.
You go over here now.
Now you're underwater. What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't think it's as I don't want to say that I think Jean Grey could. I think it would be a lot harder for Jean if she didn't have the Phoenix Force for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Harder, sure. I mean, but that's because if she had the Phoenix Force, she would just blink and that's the end of the game.
She'd blow up the whole fucking planet, you know.
She's done before.
She's done it before. Yeah. Yep. She's kind of. When I put her on the list, I went, I'm going to put her just as Jean Grey because the talking point for it, no matter who she goes up against, is does she have the Phoenix Force?
Yeah. But that would seem to suggest that you put her on the list as Jean Grey intentionally and not as the Phoenix.
Well, no, I did that just so we could have the conversation. Jean on her own versus Jean with Phoenix.
I don't know, man. I think even just by herself, I think Jean Grey.
I disagree. I think Wonder Woman against Jean Grey, just regular old Jean Grey. I think Wonder Woman's got that. Like Corey was saying, she's got experience with like telepaths and stuff, so she'd know what she's getting into.
Corey, what do you think? You think Wonder Woman?
I mean, I've already kind of put it out there. I think the deciding factor is, does Jean have Phoenix? If Jean does, obviously Phoenix wins. But Jean on her own, I don't think it's, again, I think Wonder Woman can close the gap because she deals with telepaths all the time. And I think that if it's a hand-to-hand fight, Wonder Woman has that in the bag.
Yep. So would you, therefore, would you not say that this is a draw? Because the argument is, on one hand, Jean Grey wins.
It would be. I mean, it's a draw based on. Yeah, it's a draw based on, like, does one have access to their secret weapon,
right?
Versus if they don't. So,
right.
I mean, I guess you could call that a draw because the reason I didn't specify it's Phoenix only so that we could have the conversation.
What do you think about that, John?
I mean, yeah, it's hard to disagree with that because
I feel like a draw makes sense.
Yeah.
And like not a whole lot of these other ones you would have a draw with.
Yeah.
You know? But we could actually argue like a legitimate case for both of those. Like that kind of makes sense. That it would be a draw, you know.
I didn't take Wonder Woman off the list, so we'll...
Are we doing all of these?
No, we're not gonna do all of them.
Okay. How long have we been going for?
This might be our last one.
No, I think hang on. What time did we start? We maybe do like another one or two, right?
Okay.
Yeah. All
right. Well, we got Aquaman.
Maybe another 3 because this probably won't take too long.
Yeah.
Does he have his water hand?
Oh, please let it be against the Hulk.
Almost, but it's the Juggernaut.
I mean, can you imagine if it was Carnage?
I don't know. I feel like he'd have a better shot against Carnage than he would than the Juggernaut. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there because we discussed it at length. Aquaman does have super strength and super durability because of having to exist at the bottom of the ocean floor. The other problem is that he is fighting the Juggernaut.
And we should also mention that this is adult Juggernaut.
This is not the baby.
Okay.
Adult Juggernaut.
This is a fully grown Juggernaut.
Fully grown Juggernaut. Big boy.
This Juggernaut files his taxes every year.
He hates it. It makes him angry. He has
a mortgage.
He's really fucking pissed about it. You know what I mean?
So,
okay. How long are we gonna pretend?
I mean, really, like I guess I'm like trying to think, like, just for the sake of argument, like Aquaman he can control aquatic life. It's not really gonna help him because the Juggernaut can lift and punch through anything. So even if he was like giant blue whale, I ain't gonna do anything. It's a Juggernaut.
Can you
Also,
imagine the
Juggernaut can
Juggernaut just
breathe
punching through a
underwater as
wheel?
well.
Juggernaut can breathe underwater, so yeah, not going to be a problem there. The magic water hand could potentially cause problems, but even then, I don't know like how it's just because it's magic, but also the Juggernaut is magically powered, so yeah.
Probably
So, I mean,
has
yeah.
like immunity to that, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, it's the Juggernaut winning this one, and then
Yeah.
you wonder like, why is the Juggernaut not a bigger deal when you list things out that way? Because he's just a member of Cyclops' team right now. Like, shouldn't he be a bigger deal?
I think so. I feel like the Juggernaut should be way bigger.
He's supposed to be like an agent of destruction as well. Like the whole like deal with Sitarak and stuff is he's supposed to be his like avatar on Earth, like smashing shit up. But yeah.
Well, he stood up to him recently in the comics. I hear, and he said, "I fight." He says, "I fight for my friends." These people who I've been trying to kill since they were teenagers.
I don't like that.
Turned him into a weenie.
Oh, they have. It's one of those things again. Like, why did they have to use the Juggernaut for this? There's literally, if you need a strength guy on your team, so many other options.
Strong guy.
Because we talked about it. If you need a strong guy on your team, strong guy.
Strong guy.
Right there.
He's literally made for it.
Yeah,
That's
no.
his name.
The Juggernaut is a total baby these days.
You could say.
Didn't realize I just set you up for that. I didn't realize I just set you up for that.
You knew what you were doing. You sly old fox.
All right, so you want to do what, 2 more, depending on how quickly these go?
Yeah, that one went by pretty quick. I reckon we could do another 2.
All right. So representing DC, we have
a car.
Half a car.
Power Girl.
No, it's Power Girl. All right, this is basically the Superman conundrum again. The issue with this one, she's got anger issues.
A lot of the people on this are gonna have a lot of anger issues.
And she's gonna go against. Oh, John, he's against Magneto. Now, all right. I'm gonna say some stuff right out the gate. Okay.
Power Girl's made out of metal.
In our deep dive into Magneto, there's one thing that we know Magneto cannot resist.
Ladies.
I think it's the ladies who can't resist Magneto. Thank you very much.
I'm just saying.
That's an excellent point.
Power Girl has a reputation for her build. I'm saying someone might have a hard time resisting. But no, Battle's not really going to be...
Magneto has a reputation for having sex with lots of beautiful women. So she won't be able to resist him.
Maybe.
Seems like...
Because the magnet thing isn't going to really be a problem for her. Kryptonian strength being what it is. And she does not have her cousin's sense of restraint. Power Girl has a chip on her shoulder. Magneto is Magneto, though.
He also has several chips on his shoulder.
Incredibly. So it's sort of like Magneto is also what, Omega level? Because who the fuck isn't these days? It really comes down to. So it's like an Omega level mutant versus a Kryptonian. So yeah, it's not magic. So it's not going to have the magnetism is not going to really play too big a factor there. It just kind of depends on, I guess, the battleground.
Space.
I mean, if that's the case, I mean, can Magneto can he breathe in space?
I think so, because like I think
Asteroid
wasn't M? He? Yeah, to go to Asteroid M, he was like basically flying.
He just put himself. He put himself in a bubble like Glinda the Good Witch and floated up into heavens.
I mean, he's done that before.
Yeah. Power Girl also, there's a level of being able to breathe in space with the Kryptonians.
I was gonna say, Kryptonians like they can't see through lead or something.
They cannot see through lead. No, you're correct. Lead is something they cannot see through.
But then apparently lead is not magnetic, so that's not much use to Magneto.
Oh, it's terrible. So, okay. I don't want to say they're kind of evenly matched in the sense that their powers are oil and water. Like, they don't clash well together.
No.
Like I almost feel like I don't even necessarily want to call it a stalemate because it just seems like they are that opposite of one another that we said it as a joke. I mean, it just kind of feels like, does that old silver fox still got some moves in him, you know?
That
That's
seems
what it
like
comes
his
down
only
to.
chance. Yeah, 100%.
Once again, it comes down to Magneto's ability to just fuck whoever is in front of him.
It's worked so many times in his favor.
And it's going to work again, it looks like.
I really don't want us to be that podcast where we determine a winner off of that. I would say I'd be more comfortable calling this a draw, in that I don't feel like either of their powers have anything to do with each other. Because I feel like the magnetic
you feel comfortable
fields.
calling it a draw?
I mean, I honestly can't give Magneto the win in this one, but then
That's interesting.
well, I know.
So why do you so Dylan? Why do you think Magneto could win in a fight against a Kryptonian?
Well, part of it is the sex, for sure. But has somebody like...
We don't know if Magneto's a submissive type, though. I mean, she is quite literally a dommy mommy, if you want to say so.
I didn't want to say that.
Well, I mean, we had to address the elephant in the room, and that is a big buff woman.
I refuse to say that. I'm not going to say that. But
would you say muscle mommy?
I don't think I would use the words that you're using at all.
You never used the word muscle in your life? As a child, did you never refer to your mother as mommy?
No.
Really?
We live in different countries.
Do you ever say mama?
No.
What did you call her? Did you call your mom Francine?
Yes, and she was very confused because that was not her name.
Your mom says it's not Francine.
Let's listen. Let's get away from my mother.
Yeah.
Which I feel like
your mother.
It's territory we should not have delved into, frankly. And let's address the more pertinent information. Yes, obviously the fucking is part of it, but I think that there's other stuff. So, for example, how often does Power Girl fight somebody with the abilities of Magneto?
I believe there is a villain whose name I think is Dr. Polaris.
Okay, because
also magnet based.
Magneto goes up against freaks like this all the fucking time. Like, he's always going up against somebody with the kind of like either like a crazy muscles, or what else does she do?
Well, she's Kryptonian, so super speed, strength, durability, heat vision, ice breath, X-ray vision.
Magneto has he's dealt with people like this. He's one of the fucking mutants. Like, this shit is like but it does into him. It's
all of them at the same time. It is like fighting all of the X-Men in one person. Like, would you put Magneto? But would you put Magneto against the Sentry? Because that's the equivalent of this.
Would you say that Power Girl is the equivalent of the Sentry?
Sentry is a Superman pastiche.
Yeah, but not really though.
What do you mean, not really?
But a pastiche,
this is a character
but
that you didn't know existed until we had an auction a couple of weeks ago.
They're not like a 1-to-1 thing, is what I'm saying. The Sentry is an obviously exaggerated character. Obviously.
Well, yeah, it's a schizophrenic version of Superman. Yes.
Yes. There's a lot more to, like, it's Superman like turned up to like 11 or whatever.
Not really, though. It's just Superman if he didn't. No, because it's the same power set. The only difference is that Superman doesn't have an evil copy of himself that rips the God of War in half.
No, I think I'm correct on this.
Yeah.
If you look at the facts, I think you'll find that I have it right. I don't know. I would say Magneto, because I feel like he has fought this kind of thing before. I don't think this is like a surprise to him. I reckon he would have no qualms whatsoever of beating up a woman. I just think that he gives up that vibe.
But I don't think he could beat her up, though, because again, this is Kryptonian.
I don't think he could beat her up in the sense of just like trading blows with him. But I feel like the one thing you can say about Magneto is he's proved himself pretty adept at figuring out ways to beat people up that isn't just beating them up. Like, okay, who would have thought that he would do great against Wolverine, and he was just like, I'll just rip your fucking skeleton out. You know what I mean?
Well, because that's obvious, because Wolverine has metal bones.
Right, but then he does other stuff. He can manipulate the iron in people's blood. He can do other things. He could just trap her in like a oxygen bubble and choke her to death. there's the way that they do Magneto's powers as well. You can certainly say Power Girl is like crazy overpowered, but the way that Marvel do weird shit with their Omega level mutants is that they also go to make up dumb Speed Force style stuff about people like Magneto. Like Magneto, if you look at if you look at all of his powers and stuff, he can do just insane stuff that you wouldn't even think that a man who can control metal could do. But they've written it in because it's situational at the time, and it just so happens that it makes him incredibly powerful. So
if you want to look at the OG of making up new ways to use powers, I would like to point you towards Silver Age DC Comics and Superman, where
this isn't Superman.
They were constantly creating. This is his cousin who has the same powers.
Not the same.
It is the same.
Not the same.
It is the same.
If
I will tell you this, if the wheel had chosen General Zod, I would have said that you stand a chance, because Zod is a military genius, but he's also incredibly arrogant. The only thing that you got going, that Power Girl has going against her, she's got a bad fucking attitude.
Magneto also has a bad attitude.
Exactly.
Is Peter Parker Spider-Man exactly the same as Ben Reilly Spider-Man?
They got the same powers.
Right,
yeah,
but they're not to see him. They're not to see him. They're not to see him. What you're doing is just taking a block of things and saying they're the same thing. They're the same person. They're different characters. They're not going to react the same way. Magneto, I reckon.
Yeah, what I'm saying is you're dealing with, if this was Superman, Superman's always going to approach something from a level of like, let me try to understand you. Can we work this out another way? Karen's going to come in punching. That is what Power Girl does.
Which I think is the problem. I think Superman could beat Magneto because Superman would think it through. Magneto would be able to outsmart Power Girl. I think Magneto has seen this kind of shit a ton of times. He would be able to figure out a way to beat her.
I just think he'd get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because of how he wants to fuck her.
Powers are like suitable to beating her as well. Like, what's he gonna do? Hit her with a girder or something, or drop a ship on her head? She's gonna just shrug it all off.
Magneto could probably figure out a way to beat her. Like I said, if you go back and read the power set that he has, they absolutely have written in something Magneto can do that would beat her, like 100%. Because they love Magneto. Because John is actually a member of the board of Marvel.
He's a member of the board.
The job, which is just rude.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's my case. Corey's been his case.
Yeah, John, what's your case?
John has already decided on Power Girl, which was a thing I didn't see coming.
Well, nor did I. But like I say, I just don't think his powers, gonna stack up against hers.
Okay.
I think that the DC equivalent of Omega level mutants are Kryptonians.
Right.
Where it's just they're capable of doing anything and everything.
Right, but then that means it's a draw again, because Magneto he's on the Omega level, he can do anything.
I tried pitching that and you guys were like, no.
I think to be clear, it wasn't us guys, it was probably more me.
You.
I'll settle for a draw now that we've hashed that out. We had to waste some time after Aquaman versus Juggernaut, went nowhere.
It certainly did go nowhere. All right, back to the wheel.
What do we think? Draw for that one?
Yeah, John, do you want to say draw or do you want to go with it? Because I'm of the opinion I think Power Girl could beat him.
I think Power Girl could beat him as well.
Okay, I'll write down Power Girl.
I think the next time we do this, I'm gonna put a significant lack of Kryptonians on the wheel, though.
Yeah, let it be known that I was very opposed to Power Girl when I thought.
I think that's.
Oh
boy, it keeps wanting to go to those Kryptonians, but we've got Poison Ivy over on the DC side, and she will be going against. This is gonna be a one-sided 1-2, I think. Oh yeah!
Oh.
Yeah, this one's a little open and close, huh? That is incredible. Hulk.
Well,
oh boy.
Hulk smash.
Yeah,
well, one person can control plants.
That's it.
But what?
That's it.
No, okay. The only thing that I could think that could do some sort of damage to the Hulk is that poison ivy can control plants and thus can unleash like spores and fungi and stuff that he could inhale. But even then, I'm sure the Hulk has some sort of solution to that. Because if that was the case, people would be beating the Hulk all the time.
Yeah.
Hit him with some smelling salts or something, or ether, and just knock him out.
Right. I feel like there's some sort of immunity or resistance to that the Hulk can just be like, oh, I just don't have that. Like, all right, create it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we might have time for another one.
Want to do another one?
Yeah, because I think this is a unanimous Poison Ivy didn't have a shot in hell on this one.
Oh, so we're going with the Hulk?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just scratch that out then.
Oh boy.
Wouldn't the Hulk want
this
to fuck
could
her?
do bad.
You know what I mean?
I don't know what the Hulk's proclivities are like.
Isn't that the answer to all these things now?
Yeah, right?
Man versus woman.
Oh, well, if we got to end, let's end on a high note. We're going with the Flash.
Son of a bitch.
He's won this one.
Oh, but which one, though? You know?
No, that's true. Here we go. And he will be doing battle against...
Please be MODOK.
Oh, Dylan! Carnage.
Okay. Well, Corey, you want to go first?
I mean, it's... If you want to know the full capabilities of the Flash, we have a great episode back in season 2. You listen to about an hour in, and we'll get to the point where we get frustrated and give up on talking about it.
Yeah.
No, I mean the Flash has the Speed Force. I'm going to say this is the Barry Allen version because if I was saying it was Wally West, that's even more powers you got to deal with. But we'll go with Barry. So the Flash has super speed. He can run fast. He can think faster than anyone. He can phase through objects by vibrating his molecules. He can hit you harder than you can think. So, I mean, I think that, like, it's a tough fight against Carnage, but Carnage is also, essentially, it's a tag team fight, or it's a handicap fight, because it is also Cletus Cassidy or Eddie Brock. We're going that route. Teaming up with the Carnage symbiote, which is brings out the worst in everybody. So, yeah, I'll let you guys talk about Carnage.
I mean Carnage is a serial killer with a symbiote, which allows him to kind of create like lots of sort of knives and stuff out of his
weapons. Yeah,
gooey knives.
Projectiles.
And he's basically got no compunction whatsoever about killing people and enjoying it. But then he's also been like ripped in half and died a couple of times and managed to somehow come back. So
bingo, it always comes back. And then he kills
Same can be said for Barry Allen, though.
Wow.
Barry Allen got phased out of existence during the Crisis, and then was emerged from the Speed Force 30 years later.
This Speed Force thing is some grade A bullshit.
Oh yeah.
By the way,
100%.
So DC has their they've kind of started their own thing called the Absolute Universe. In Absolute Flash, no Speed Force. The writer is Jeff Lemire, and he came out and said no Speed Force in Absolute Flash. So I'm going to be checking out Absolute Flash to see what they do with Wally and that. But yes,
this seems like an enjoyable story.
It would be interesting to see how they handle it.
No Speed Force.
But yeah,
I'm on board.
So I mean, that really is what it comes down to. Again, is just like speedsters in DC are not fair in how overpowered they can be because of that ability to move faster than you can think. Like, is Barry Allen faster than the Carnage symbiote can move?
100%, yes.
Does Carnage have like spider sense? The symbiotes always fuck me up on that. I don't know if they have that ability or not.
I know
the spider sense doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
I think Venom might have it because of, Spider-Man wearing the Venom symbiote for a while, and they kind of I think the symbiote might have picked up some stuff from him, like it picked up the webbing and things like that. But generally speaking, I don't think they have any kind of spider sense.
No.
Okay. Dylan, I know how you feel about Carnage.
I like him.
You're a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say that you would have spent half of your money trying to procure him.
I mean, we could argue that my liking of Carnage is the very reason he's on this list.
It's very well documented. I think it might have been why I put him on the list.
Yeah, I don't see why else he would be on the list other than because I have a soft spot for Carnage. So I'm gonna say something controversial here.
All right, let's hear it.
I think Carnage would win.
Okay.
I mean, I am going to disagree, and I'm not happy about this whatsoever.
You can disagree and be happy.
Nobody's happy about Barry Allen winning this fight.
I think the Flash's powers, like the multitude of powers that he has, sort of tips this one way in his favor. Like he could, I guess, vibrate his hands and create like sound waves or whatever.
I mean, yeah, he could disrupt the symbiotic bond.
Yeah, yeah. Or he could even just run back into the past and kill Cletus Cassidy as a baby or something.
That's such bullshit. Come on, now.
But this
if he was fighting Reverse Flash, if it was Reverse Flash, that is a real possibility. Yes.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love how indignant Dylan gets anytime Barry Allen comes up.
I'm so exasperated about the Flash could just eat an apple and then the other guy dies. Like he could do anything the Flash can do. Like, oh well, you forgot that the Flash could do this. I'm like, oh, did I forget that, or did you just make that up so it was convenient for this story? What a surprise! Once again the Flash. How does anybody ever defeat the Flash? How has the Flash ever died? This is impossible. This is insanity that this man can just do everything under the sun. Do you know what I mean? And above the sun, I guess. He can exist in space. He is the sun.
So I would say
He's going so fast that he becomes the sun.
Of the fill-ins of the characters that on the Marvel side that we featured tonight, the one I can obviously think of could be Barry Allen is Doom.
Okay.
Doom could beat Flash.
Why?
Because of Doom's intellect mixed with his ability of magic, he'd find a way of stripping, one way or the other, he'd strip the Speed Force out of Barry.
I just think
magically or through science.
I
don't think he could.
I think he could.
Like you said, I think he could vibrate through his walls and separate him.
You think he could vibrate through the walls?
Yeah.
This is silly.
Yeah.
One time, Carnage took over a whole town. He was in the middle of the town. He implanted like little bits of the symbiote into all of the people in the town, and was able to like control them through the main symbiote. He was able to control the whole town, and so therefore he could sense whenever other people, the Avengers, for example, were coming to kill him. Couldn't he do that and sense that the Flash is coming to kill him?
I mean, but it would be react quick enough to stop the Flash.
The second he's like, "Oh, Flash it!" and he's takes a fist to the side of the head.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how Carnage's reactions work, though. He's never had to go up against somebody like that before. We don't know if he can react that quickly.
He's never shown any signs of being super quick before, though, has he?
I mean, the Sentry did pick him up and handle him into space.
A lot of that is just because he just is focused on killing people, and I would argue that his bloodlust and he would hate the Flash so much that he would go out of his way to kill this man. You know what I mean? The one thing Carnage is very good at is killing people. I feel like he could definitely kill him. If anybody's gonna kill somebody, it's gonna be Carnage, right?
He's good at killing normal people, but I'm not sure he's good at killing speedsters.
He can kill a lot of people.
Has he
killed? He's not killed a lot of superpowered people, though.
Yeah, like who has he killed in the superhero community?
I don't remember. Let me go on his comic book resource page and edit that as well.
May head on over to Comic Vine and put in some entries real fast. Oh, he killed Chester Cheetah.
Well, good riddance, that motherfucker. Nobody liked him. He had access to the Cheetah Force, so
yeah, the Cheetah Force. he left the orange residue everywhere. It was
disgusting.
Annoying.
It was really horrible. He smelled weird, you know.
So it It sounds like this is another instance of a 2-1 against against Carnage on this one.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it, doesn't it? So we're gonna say the Carnage wins. Because I let you guys have the Magneto one, so I feel like it's fair to the right Carnage dying. Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Joker versus Carnage though on the wheel.
Yeah.
Carnage would have just killed him.
I think he would. I think he could have.
Really killed him. You know. He wouldn't put
There's
up with
nothing supernatural about Joker. Yeah.
He's just a guy.
Although it would be interesting to see if this Carnage symbiote would stick with Cletus, or if you would see it. Oh, that's a more interesting suitor and swap.
That's like the only hook of the story, I think.
That would be the angle. If you were gonna write a DC and Marvel joint story, is Carnage abandoning Cletus because he found Joker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So John, are you gonna let us write that story for Marvel?
You have my permission to write it and submit it, and then we'll see if anything happens with it.
That's how he
You've
always
said that
gets
to
you.
us before. You've said this to us many times before.
I mean, one of these days, maybe you'll write something good enough to put in the Marvel comics.
That's very hurtful to our incredible.
I felt like
Sugar
a very
Man and
backhanded
MODOK
compliment.
You've been very rude. The people want to see that front cover to Sugar Man and MODOK.
You know what I've learned? I learned that the Wheel really doesn't like Batman. The Wheel has not landed on Batman once. So these are the names that we left over from DC: Martian Manhunter, Lex Luthor, Starro, the Joker, Batman, General Zod, the Cheetah, Lobo, and Green Lantern. And on Marvel, we had Mr. Fantastic, Mystique, Captain Marvel, Mr. Sinister, MODOK, Captain America, Dr. Octopus, Iron Man, and Wolverine. The heavy hitters left on both wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Of those that we mentioned, is there any that you would have liked to have seen, like, duke it out between each other?
Nah.
I don't know. Batman against Captain America, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking of that, but then I'm like, just guys hitting each other with shields.
Yeah.
You know.
I would have liked to have seen Lobo versus Deadpool.
Well,
when they did Marvel versus DC,
write that story.
Yeah, I mean, when they did Marvel versus DC in the 90s, Deadpool wasn't really at that level where you would compare him to Lobo, but definitely now you could see them fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's going to do us for today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this sort of return to the playground sensibilities of who would win in a fight kind of deal. John, what is your movie count out for the year so far?
I am up to 205.
Ooh, broke 200.
I have.
What was your most recent?
It was the Gambit movie.
Channing
sorry. No, I mean it was just called Gambit, but it had Colin Firth in it. Not playing Gambit, he was playing some guy trying to rip off his horrible boss, and he basically drafts Cameron Diaz in to help him do it.
With a Cajun accent.
With a Texas accent. And it also has some
Firth
cowboy
with
monkeys
a Texan accent?
Oh no, Cameron Diaz has a Texan. Yes.
That's worse.
Monkeys? Yeah.
Yes. It had cowboy monkeys in riding
as
dogs.
Well, as we all know, put a monkey in an outfit, it's going to get you another 2 stars. John, if you want to see how many stars he gave the Gambit movie or the Gambit, John, where can they see your review?
They can find it on Letterboxd at Big John Bowski, all one word.
And Dylan, what's going on in the world of Captain Explodey?
I don't even know anymore. Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Maybe I'm keeping a lot of secrets from you guys, and then at some point I'll just be like, I have so many things to announce all at once. I've done all the things. I've access to Speed Force. I can do anything now. I can win at Scrabble. You know.
Yeah.
Someday I'll have something to show. You know. Not today though.
Okay. In case they want to ever see more, though, they can always look for you somewhere with Captain Explodey, right?
No, stay away from me forever.
All right, fair enough. My other thing I got going on is called Large World Cup. It's a spoken word storytelling stream of consciousness podcast. Every week, it's like 29 minutes long, and I just talk until it's over. And then that's it. We don't edit it. We just put it up.
Good.
But until then, next time, I suppose, then we'll talk to you next time. The next time we talk.
Smooth.
Next
yeah,
time.
there we go.
Nailed it. Oh,
like
beautiful.
butter.
Yeah.
Like butter.
See, this
All
is
right,
why
bye-bye.
people. This is why people tune in, man.
Yeah, that's. I just handled that
Smooth as
outro
silk,
perfectly.
you know? Oh, beautiful stuff. Anyway,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Until next time.